The purpose of this video is to demonstrate how to operate Track Wrestling's Matside scoring system when running an electronic tournament. Specifically, this video focuses on scoring a Greco match in an individual tournament. The screen you're looking at right now is the screen you would see as soon as someone gets you logged into the system. What you would do is select the mat that you're on and click the search button. This will bring back the list of matches that has been assigned to your mat, with the match at the top being the match that you should wrestle first. You simply click on the match and it will load on the screen and ready for you to start scoring. You notice at the top of the screen it shows you who is on deck and who is in the hole. The reason for this is if someone is looking over your shoulder and they want to know when they're going to be up, they can see it while you're scoring the current match that's happening. You'll notice the colors of the wrestler is listed. By default, John is red and Juan is blue. I can easily change that by selecting blue for John, which changes John to blue and Juan to red. I'm going to switch that back for this match. The clock for the match is listed here, and I can start the clock by clicking on the start button. When I start the clock, the background color of the clock turns green, which means the clock is running. If I click stop, the background color of the clock turns red, and I know I can easily tell the clock has been stopped. If I am running the clock, there's also keyboard shortcuts within Firefox to start and stop the clock. If I hit the down arrow, that will stop the clock when the clock is running, and if I hit the down arrow again, that will start the clock. So whatever the clock is doing, pressing the down arrow will do the opposite. Within Internet Explorer, the shortcut key is the tilde key, which is up next to the number 1 key. So within Internet Explorer, if I hit the tilde, that will stop the clock if it's running. If I hit it while it's stopped, it will start the clock. So those are the shortcut keys for starting and stopping the clock. While the match is happening, I can click on the scoring options. So for example, if John scores a 2-point move, I can click +2 for John. Notice the score is then updated. It's 2-0 in John's favor. Let's say that Juan now scores a 3-point move. I would click on 3 for Juan. Let's say that I actually messed that up and I didn't want this to be a 3-point move. I wanted it to be a 5-point move. I can click on the +3, and when I click on the +3, it asks me what do I want to do with this entry. So I can either delete it, change it, or insert something above it. Let's say that I want to change it, and I've actually changed my mind. It's not going to be a 3-point move, it's going to be a 2-point move because I don't want this period to be over yet. So I'm going to click on +2, and now the score is 2-2. Notice that that the +3 that was here is now changed to a +2. I can add in comments using this comments box. So I could say, you don't have to do this, but I could say I changed a +3 to +2. And basically that just becomes part of the electronic record. Some people use that to determine or to say what who the referee was that did the match. There's a lot of different ways you can use the comments box. It's just like writing notes on the bout sheet itself. When the period is over, you click on the boxes here indicating who won the period. So in this case it was 2-2. Blue scored the last points, so blue is going to have won that period. So I would click the first period box for blue, indicating that blue won the first period. Now I notice I'm in the first period. When I click next, I would go to the next period, and everything would be set and ready to go, and I could start my clock in the second period. Let's say that there's now blood time or something like that. Something happens and blue starts bleeding. I stop my clock, and if I want to start another clock like blue's blood time clock, I click set for blue's blood time clock, and then I can start it. So I click start, and now I'm running blue's blood time clock. So they stop the bleeding, I stop the clock, and now I want to go back to the actual match clock. I would click set on the actual match clock, and now I could start the match again. Let's say that some stuff happens. Let's say that red gets a 2-point move, blue gets a 3-point move, and red gets a 2 and a 2. And that was confusing, and they have to have a meeting. The referee and the coaches come over to the table, and the referee wants to see the scoring summary of the match, not just for this period, but the whole match. The easiest way to do that is to click on Summary in the left menu, and it will show you a summary of what's happened in the whole match. So here's period 1 what happened, here's period 2 what happened. The referee, the coaches can review this. When you want to go back to the actual match, you simply click Match in the left menu, and you're right back to where you were. So I'm going to go ahead and start the clock again. Another thing that I should have pointed out, but I forgot to point out, I'm going to go ahead and stop the clock to do this, is the go time is listed here. So right now, this should have been checked when the match was first loaded. It says that the go time was any time for these two wrestlers. The reason it says any time is because this is the first match of the day for these wrestlers. However, if they had wrestled a match, there would be a timestamp here telling you when they can wrestle. And actually the system would prompt you and say, are you sure you want to start this match if you tried to load the match before that go time. So I'm going to go ahead and start this clock again and run it down. Another thing is, let's say that I stop the clock here and the referee says, well, we really want 13 seconds to be on the clock. I simply type in 13 and hit set, and that will set my clock, and I can now run from 13 seconds. So let's go ahead and run this period out. I'm just going to set it at 0, so set it to 0. And it looks like red won this period, so I'm going to indicate red won the second period in the second period box. So notice I indicated blue won the first period in the first period box. I leave the first period box alone for red. I select it in the second period. If I were to switch this and say blue won this period, notice when I click it, it takes it away from red. So I'm going to switch it back and give it back to red. So now we have a tie so far, blue winning the first period, red winning the second, so let's go to the third. And go ahead and start the clock in the third period. Let's say that blue scores a 3-point move and puts red on his back and pins him. I'm going to stop the clock, and regardless of how the match ends, whether it's a pin, a tech fall, a decision, regardless of what it is, you always click Result in the left menu. When you click Result, the system will try and pick the winner based on the information that's been entered. So its best guess right now is that Juan won this match. If John actually won the match, you could simply click on John's name and it would switch him to the winner. You want to double check this all the time, and the best way to do that is to have the wrestler walk over to the table, show him the computer screen, and verify that the name selected is in fact their name. You also want to double check the win type with the official. So check with the official or whoever is in charge and verify the win type. So let's say that this was a fall. It defaults in the scores from the first period, second period, and it thinks the fall was in 12 seconds in the third period based on the fact that there was whatever time is left on the clock. So you double check all this, you double check the end time, the match end time, and then you click on Save Result. When you click on Save Result, it will take you right back to your list of matches, and you would simply click on the next match in your list to score that match the same as we just scored this match. Some tournaments utilize our Mat Chat system, which is a way for you to communicate with the head table. Let's say that you're trying to start this match, but Tyler Price has not reported yet. I could click on Chat in the left menu, and I could send a message to the head table that says, please call Tyler Price to Mat 2. Okay, I send that message, and assuming again that there's someone at the head table that has Mat Chat open on their end, they would get this message and be able to call Tyler to Mat 2. Another thing I should point out, it's a rare situation, but should still point it out. If you lose your connection to the head table, or you lose your internet connection or something, you try and click matches and the page doesn't load. In order to continue wrestling while somebody is trying to figure this problem out, you can click History and then click on Matches, and it will show you a list of the matches that have been assigned to your mat based on the most recent list it could retrieve. So you can continue to wrestle these matches, contact someone from the head table to come over and restore your connection and get you back up and running. Um, so just to double check here, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Um, and that should be it for this demo. So again, this has been a demonstration of how to utilize our Matside scoring system specifically for a Greco match in an individual tournament.